All right, welcome everybody to Hump Day Hangouts episode 214. This time it actually is 214. I'm able to use my numbers this week, which is great. And I almost wore my little Christmas hat, but I decided I got to hold off for like another week. We got a lot of good stuff. We got some news we want to share with you guys and then jump into questions. But first, let's say hi. We got Hernan and Bradley with us. So let's start on the left with Hernan. It looks like I can see half of his face. How's it going, man?
Cool.
Oh, there we go.
Now?
Yeah.
That better? I'm doing great, actually. I'm doing really well. So, yeah, we're having a lot of good stuff coming up for Semantic Mastery for the Mastermind. We have a bunch of good stuff for this month. I'm really, really excited for what's coming. So
I'm going to get a seizure from your freaking TV, Christmas tree in the background.
Look at this now.
Yeah, no, come on. We want to see that.
Blinking.
Oh, my God. Stop doing that right along. Bradley, how are you doing? Are you still alive?
I'm convulsing. That's what I'm doing. No, I'm good, man. I just finished the Syndication Academy update webinar, the first one in several months. Anyways, it wasn't as good as I had hoped because we're having some slight issues with one of the things I wanted to share. But because of that, I'm going to schedule another one for next month. So just be on the lookout for that, guys.
Nice. Real quick.
Like Marco made it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Marco, you there?
No, I'm not.
Well, tough. We're just saying hello to everybody. So if you got a sec, if you want to say hi, and how you doing?
Of course, man. What's up? I'm excited, man. End of the year, so it's always good. All right, family time, just getting together, good eating. My wife's a chef, so nice. I'm lucky, and then I'm really looking forward to 2019. We have so much stuff coming down the pipeline, man. It's not even fun. It's ridiculous. The kind of money that's to be made right now, dude. We're back in like 2003, 2004, 2005 when I started out. It's ridiculous the way that you can just go out there and with almost nothing make a bucket full of money.
Definitely. Now's the time. And we'll be speaking of that a little bit more in just a minute. There's some really good opportunities. But wanted to say, too, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, of course, thank you for watching. If you're checking out the replay on YouTube down the road, come join us live for these. You can always come to the most up-to-date or most recent or upcoming one at semanticmastery.com/HD questions. And again, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, you're wondering where to start with the battle plan. All right, that's going to get you repeatable results, covers a ton of different areas, different stuff you need. And then once you've got that, we even encourage our mastermind members, everyone, to get the battle plan. But once you're ready, take things up a few notches, you want to either start or grow your own local digital marketing agency, come join the mastermind. I can talk about masterminds just in general all day about how much good they do for you. We love ours. We're very proud of it. We've got a bunch of kick-ass members, and we got a lot of really good stuff coming here very soon. We're putting into action right now the POFU Pass. And we're going to have a little bit of a special to do with that. We're going to explain some more about that and let you guys see a little bit behind the curtains here, more closer to Christmas, I guess is the way to say that. But in the very near future, Bradley's going to be doing a webinar on Monday, right?
Yes, Monday's the Local Lease Pro update webinar to share some additional things that I've discovered or that myself and my team have discovered over the last since we launched the course, essentially. Several things that we're going to talk about. Location research is much more granular now than before, so I'm going to be sharing that process on that webinar, where I can show you guys how to use how to run that software that we use in that course to find easy opportunities for GMB assets, and it's on a much more granular level, and I'll explain all of that during the webinar, which will be on Monday. I'm also going to talk about some things to avoid to prevent getting locations terminated for spam. There's certain things that we've learned through all the heavy testing that we've been doing the last couple of months. So I want to talk about that. So you guys that aren't part of Local Lease Pro, you'll get information like behind the scenes in some of the information, but it's not going to be the whole picture, right? And so we're going to make it public. Everybody can come join. Because I want you guys to, like, this is our primary push right now at Semantic Mastery, is like, and that's we've really shifted directions entirely to building out lead gen assets right now, because there's so much opportunity, more so than I've ever seen since I started in digital marketing and local marketing, which was in 2010. And I mean that. Marco was just saying this is like 2003, 4, or 5 or whatever. well, I wasn't in digital marketing back then, so I don't know what it was like. But since 2010, when I got started, I've never seen this much opportunity. And so that's why we're pushing it so hard. And that's why I wanted to make this update webinar on Monday public, because I want you guys to see like how excited and enthusiastic we are about this, and also and why. And when you see what I talk about with the location research alone, if that doesn't get you excited, then you're in the wrong damn business, is all I'm saying. So again, we're gonna have that public on Monday. Adam screwed up and put 48 hours in the email that it's going to be public. I didn't want it to be public for that long, so fuck you, Adam.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, prick. But yeah, I was really only going to keep it public for 24 hours, but since the emails went out, it'll be public for 48 hours, and then it's getting locked down, and it'll be in the members area only, along with the rest of the training. So I highly recommend that you guys come check it out. If you haven't joined Local Lease Pro, we're going to also offer a shit ton of bonuses and stuff like that if you do want to join on Monday, but it'll be kind of a limited time thing. So make sure you attend and absorb as much information as you can.
Yeah, and I want to encourage people too who aren't in. Obviously, for the members, be there. We're going to have some good stuff. For non-members, we are doing Q&A too. So if you want, come and learn, see what's going on a little bit behind the scenes. Like Bradley said, you can see really what's going on here, how big the opportunity is. But then we'll also be answering questions. So we realize if you don't have the whole picture, there's something missing, you're not sure how this would work for you, this, that, or the other thing, be there. Ask questions, get them answered. And then, like Bradley said, we got a hell of a Christmas deal for you, and happy to make that available. But yeah, that replay is going to be only available for a limited time. And then if you're not there live, obviously you can't get your questions answered as in depth as if you're there. So sign up, be there.
Yep. So what else we got?
One last quick one. Just want to tell people the special offer is going away from MGYB. We got a killer deal on the deep keyword research. All right. This is one of the new additions to MGYB. It's a kick-ass keyword research done for you service, and it's 40% off, and that's going away later today. So I'm going to pop the link up there. Check it out. If you got any projects coming up, you got clients coming on board, you got websites you're thinking about building out, you need content ideas, this is the place to do it. And 40% off is a hell of a chunk of change. So highly suggest you make use of this today before it goes away.
Okay.
I think that's it. We ready to go?
Yeah, as soon as I finish sending Rob a message real quick. All right. Sorry. Let me grab the screen. We'll get right into questions. All right. Here we go. Not a whole lot of questions yet, guys. You better get to asking some questions or we're going to shut this down quick. Anyways, Dan's up first. He says, I had uploaded several images to a GMB for a customer back in 2016. Will it hinder the ranking to take images, to take all the image off of the GMB page, geotag them, and then re-upload them? Perhaps I should only do it a few at a time. Yeah, I don't think it would be a problem. I would do it a few at a time if I were to do it. Dan, I mean, again, maybe Marco has some additional information than I do, but I don't see why that would be a problem. If they're just GMB images, like if they're not, like you're not taking posts down and all that kind of stuff, then I don't see why it would be a problem. I wouldn't want to take posts down though, like delete posts and then repost them again. I just leave the old posts up if that makes sense. But if it's just images, like taking that from the GMB photos section, like removing them, geotagging them, and then re-uploading them, I can't see that as being an issue, but I would still do it, a handful at a time, dripped out over several days or whatever. What do you think, Marco?
Yeah, my question is, why would you want to do that? Why not add new images?
New images. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
I mean, we teach how, and I think Dan has local GMB Pro. We teach you how to go in and get images anywhere you want. Then you go in and add all of the information that you want, and you have new data. This is the whole point, guys. You guys, all right, I don't know how much I can get into this, but you're missing the whole point of what local GMB Pro is all about and what we're doing with local Lease Pro and local PR Pro. We're trying to feed the fucking bot data. And if you take stuff down and bring it back up, Google knows that the image existed already without the geotagging. Why not give Google new images with new information so that not only is it looking at the front, it's also looking at the back? I don't understand the point unless you can't get images. And if you can't get images from your client, fire the client, or use the method that we teach in local GMB Pro. But always, for me, I always feed the bot more data. More data. It's always about more data. Fill in the variables and get lots of love.
Yeah, I like that. That's just true. If you get more images, and Dan, you should know, if I think you're part of local GMB Pro, but and I think RYS members also had access to that webinar. So on how to get additional images. And then there's, stuff like, I mean, even YouTube, you can just grab images from YouTube. And I've done that a bunch. That's what my VAs are currently doing right now because they're a bit faster at it. But yeah, I mean, there's just a ton of ways to get additional images. I agree with Marco. His was definitely a better answer than mine. So Marco's the winner. Dan's up again. He says, how many GMBs per manager account is acceptable? Well, it depends, Dan. It depends on what you're doing. Like, what type of GMB assets are they? Are they real, bona fide, like genuine businesses? If they're genuine businesses, there's no problem adding a manager and managing the genuine businesses from a manager account, right? Because they're real businesses. There's no problem with that at all. Now, and Marco and I have slightly differing opinions on like for lead gen assets, but personally for lead gen assets, I like that are, guys, let's be 100% clear here. Let's not sugarcoat this. When we're doing lead gen GMB assets, they're spammed, right? They're spammed assets. That's what they are. So let's be clear about that. So when you're doing lead gen stuff, then I don't recommend using a manager account because that connects, like that creates a footprint, right? You can connect different locations. So what I'm doing currently now is, and I've tested, because we're scaling this lead gen asset building process so much right now, we're testing all different types of configurations. And I've got several out there right now where I'm doing location clusters, which is multiple locations or assets within a service area, like a radius. A 20-mile radius is typically what I'm doing right now. So I'll secure many assets within that 20-mile radius. And so some of my location clusters are managed under a singular manager account. In other words, each location is owned by a separate Google profile. So it's owned by a separate Google profile, but it's managed, or there's a manager account that connects those profiles so that a manager can access them. However, like I said, currently what I've kind of shifted to now is doing everything under the owner account, or at least logging in, or if I'm going to add a manager, only adding a manager long enough to make changes to the GMB asset and then removing that manager so that the footprint doesn't stay there. In other words, like, for example, one of the things we're going to be doing is providing done-for-you GMB optimization services. So we can provide an MGYB, our store. It's not available yet, but it's coming very, very soon, guys. We've got VAs in training right now to be able to provide you guys with full soup to nuts done-for-you GMB asset building. Like from verification all the way through setup and optimization and scheduling GMB posts and scheduling them to republish, to where you don't have to do shit except purchase it and then start making money from it once you monetize it, right? So one of the things that we're going to have to do is whenever we create, or somebody, typically you're going to buy the asset from us, so we create it for you, but then the VAs that are going to be optimizing it will be that asset will be, a manager will be added to that asset, and then the VAs will manage or optimize that profile, that GMB asset, from the manager account. But then as soon as we go to deliver it, we remove the manager account, right? That's what the process is likely going to be. And that way there's the owner account, and then you can add yourself as a manager if you'd like, but I would recommend using something like Browsio or Ghost Browser and always logging in and making changes to it from the primary owner account. And that way it's isolated to that one account. In other words, if you end up getting terminated from Google for whatever reason, I've got a couple assets that have been terminated recently that I don't understand why they were terminated. But again, they're spammed assets, so I'm not going to complain too much. I'm just going to move on and build another one, right? So my point is, if you end up catching some sort of penalty and it gets terminated, then it's going to be isolated to one account and one account only. Okay. So in the past, I've always said that it's okay to add yourself as a manager to GMB assets and then manage, make changes and things like that through the manager account. But that's typically when for real businesses, or maybe, the occasional lead gen asset. I've never done it at scale like we have been over the last few weeks. And I'm really concerned because these are black-hatted Google or GMB assets. I'm really worried about potential footprints. And so I'm trying to do as much as possible to reduce footprints. And that means not using manager accounts when, if possible. And if you're using a good browser keeper app like Browsio or Ghost Browser, you should be able to accomplish that. Now, Marco, I know you have a slightly different take on it. You want to share yours?
Yeah, we have managers doing it all. The owner never ever goes back in, and that's how we do it. It's as if an agency were doing the work for that Google My Business listing, which I think.
So you have different manager accounts, though, is what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. We have, because we have a whole bunch of VAs.
Gotcha.
Right, and so, but they all get spread out. We don't have one VA that does, for example, what you always talk about, tree service, right? Then it's not a bunch of clustered tree service GMBs that VA is doing. They're out everywhere. They have a bunch of different niches that they handle, and the team lead will spread them out. Like she'll give them, okay, you get 3 of these, you get 3 of these, you get 3 of these, and then she'll come back and she'll start adding them again until we get to a certain point. And then we don't add any more to those. We'll open a new account, and that account will manage the next set, and they won't all be in one niche. And I think that's just perfectly legitimate. In fact, I haven't seen any problems with any of the stuff that we're doing getting suspended.
Yeah, and I haven't had anything suspended through a manager account. So, again, I've had in the past, I've had a manager account suspended, and it didn't affect any of the GMB assets because that it was managing, because the asset was owned by a different Google profile. So as far as I know, that's still the case, but I don't want to create a known footprint between assets. So what Marco just said, Dan, just to clarify, is that he'll still do, they're making changes. His team is making changes to GMB assets through manager accounts, not through the owner accounts, but there's not a footprint between the manager accounts and the assets, because he's randomly selecting different Gmail accounts to be added as managers, and then they manage more than just one type of vertical or industry. Now, again, that's Marco's got a team. Dan, I'm not sure if you have a team or not, so that might not be the most efficient way for you if you don't have a team. If you have a team, then maybe it is. Also, it depends on, again, like Marco said, if you're dealing with multiple industries, that makes it easier to do that, because each manager account can be managing multiple types of GMB assets. In other words, different types of industries, which would make sense because that acts very much like an agency that would be managing different client businesses, right? So what Marco's saying is absolutely valid. I completely understand his method. Me personally, in my business, I am targeting one industry. So we're targeting, like for my business, it's tree service industry. For contractor media, it's remodeling and general contractors. So because of that, we're targeting one industry. I don't have that, even if we had multiple manager accounts, every manager account would only be managing similar type of properties. So that doesn't work for my setup. Again, you're going to have to customize a setup based upon what your specific business is currently, and then select which is best. And for me, for my business, because I'm targeting one industry, the best so far, according, or at least what I think to be the best method, is doing everything through the primary owner account. Or if I'm going to add a manager, it's only temporary, long enough for the manager to make whatever changes they're going to the GMB, and then that manager gets removed so that it's not a long-term manager connection, if that makes sense. Okay, so again, really take what Marco said and take what I said and determine which is the better fit for your business, and then apply that method. Okay, it's a great question, by the way, Dan.
I'm also about to put it to the test, because I'm about to close on a really big deal where we're talking about just thousands of GMBs, and it's in one vertical, one niche, and I'm gonna see which of the two methods works best for longevity.
Yeah, and that's
I'll report
back. That's what we're trying to do here. I mean, we're trying to develop processes to scale all of this, which is really what Tofu Live was all about. And so, you know, we're really trying to develop all these processes and done for you services, because we're building out our own, like, guys, we're not just creating these services to sell them to you guys. We're creating these services for our internal use. But since we're going through all the trouble of creating all these processes and training virtual assistants to do all this stuff, because we're building our own businesses this way, we practice exactly what we preach, guys. But since we're going through all this trouble anyways, it just makes sense to also, because we're going to have all the processes in place for training, for all of this, to be able to provide that to you guys, right? And so because of that, we're doing all this testing right now. Remember, a lot of this is new at this level, like at this level of volume that we're doing. And so we're trying to figure it out as we go. And as soon as we get good information, we share it in the appropriate places, like Local Lease Pro, Local GMB Pro, and in the Mastermind. Those are the 3 places where this stuff's getting shared, right? So if you want to stay on top of it without having to do the testing yourself, then just come join us. And the Mastermind's probably your best bet, because that's where the conversations are held on, on a daily basis. All right, Wayne's up. He says, observation. Yeah, this was funny. Google CEO Sundar Pichai, whatever, testified in front of the House Judiciary Committee and literally said, last year we served over 3 trillion searches just as a fact every single day. 15% of the searches Google sees, we have never seen them before. That's crazy. So this is working at scale. We don't manually intervene any search results. And then another SEO said, anyone else see the word manually in there? Duh, I would have preferred him to say we don't intervene, period. Thought you'd slip that one by, huh, Sundar? Maybe to that box of rocks they call Congress, but not to us SEOs. That's funny. I know. I thought that was really interesting. So thanks for sharing that, Wayne. Frankie's up. What's up, Frankie? He's come and asked a lot of questions. He says, hey, guys, happy holidays. I've got a new client who owns a travel vacation club in the travel niche. Marco, this seems like might be up your alley. In my city, who is giving me $1,000 for ad spend with Google Ads because they want results ASAP. And then for each lead I bring in, you will be getting paid, or Frankie will be getting paid $200 to $250, regardless if they join the travel club or not. There you go. That's great, Frankie. So they're giving you the $1,000 for ad spend, and they're going to pay you for the leads that you generate with their money. Whew, that's a really cool engagement, man. How'd you get that? How'd you manage that one? That's great. I like that. Since he is paying for the ad spend and I still get a nice chunk per lead, I agreed to do his deal as the potential here is huge for me. Yes, I agree. Typically in this industry, in order to generate the leads, the main way all the current marketing companies have done is they do a free giveaway offer for a vacation trip to Orlando or a free cruise in exchange for their contact info and having them attend a short sales presentation where they have the option to buy or not buy, but they still get their promised free gift at the end. My question is there any laws or issues I should worry about dealing with when running ads to a vacation giveaway offer that is free? Also, I know if you have used Answer Connect in the past, so I wanted to ask, can the service of Answer Connect make confirmation outbound calls to the new leads and ask questions to qualify them just as they would if they were inbound calls? Thanks. Okay, so the first thing, is there any potential issues with that? I don't know. You'd have to contact Google. If you're talking about setting up Google Ads, then I would just call Google Ads, right? Formerly AdWords, call Google Ads support and ask them that, because they'll tell you, guys, listen, I've always found Google Ads help, the support line, like to call them, always really helpful. Like, I'm not kidding. Like anytime I have a question that I'm unsure of, I just call Google Ads because I'm spending money with them. So why not call them and just ask them? So I don't have to spend a bunch of time researching stuff. Like of course I do a Google search first. And if I can't find a direct answer to my question within a few minutes, then I will call, and just because they're usually really responsive and they're happy to help because you're a paying advertiser. I found that to be the case. Maybe other people have had different experiences, but I've always found it rather helpful. So I would call and ask, do some Google research first if you can, Frankie. But, it's very funny, but there was a training course. I can't remember the name of it. It was by Anthony Morrison. He's got a brother too. They do a bunch of stuff, but he's got a training course. It's rather old now, a couple years old now, but it was very much like what you're talking about, but it was done on Facebook, and that was giving away a free vacation, which cost him like $600 or $800, right? He could buy a 3-night or 2-night, 3-day trip package at a, Orlando resort or something like that, right? And it would cost him like $800, $600 to $800 or something like that. And then he would do it on his Facebook page for that area. He would do a post, and he would use Google or Facebook ads on the page, to promote this free giveaway, for this free vacation giveaway, right? For 2 nights and 3 days at whatever this resort was. And he did it in multiple locations, and he would get thousands of people to opt in for that free giveaway. And then on the thank you page after the opt-in, there would just be AdSense ads, like straight up Google AdSense ads. And because so many thousand people would click through and opt in to be put on the list for the vacation giveaway, and then land on the thank you page with the AdSense ads, which, by the way, you can put affiliate offers there and things too, then he would end up making more money on just the AdSense clicks than it cost to pay for the vacation, the giveaway, right? For the tickets for the giveaway. So he ended up making money just on that giveaway alone. And then he built a list, right, of thousands of people that now he can email market to, right? And also retarget or remarket through remarketing, right? And so it was huge because he was building a list with a free giveaway and making money on it. And he has a training course about it. It's all done on Facebook, but you could apply that same principle to a Google Ads campaign, or apply Google Ads to that same type of campaign is what I'm saying. Again, if it's legal, if it's not a violation of Google Ads terms of service, but you can find that out either through some research or just calling Google and asking them. It was a brilliant strategy.
Yeah,
brilliant strategy.
I just posted the URL for their policy regarding contests and giveaways.
Is it a no-go?
No, yeah. I mean, he has to look through it as long as the state does it, where he's doing it doesn't prohibit it, as long as it's not prohibited in the US or whatever, he can totally do it. Just read through the URL, make sure that you understand it. And again, call Google. Frankie, act real stupid. Look, I want to spend some money with you. I'm not sure how. Can I do this? And if you act really stupid, they're really going to help. I mean, seriously, they're going to go out of their way to get you to spend your money with them. Then you go, after you're done with them, and take everything that they said with a grain of salt, because all you're looking for is the clarification that yes, you could do it, and what the conditions are, what the limitations are. That's all you're looking to get out of them. They're going to try to talk you into getting one of their reps to help you or whatever. You could always do it yourself, but the whole point behind this is getting all of those little nuggets out of the person that you're talking to. And the way that you do that is by acting really dumb.
This is it. I was trying to think. I was sitting here the whole time you're talking, Mark. I'm trying to think of the name of that Facebook page, where that, let's see, was it this one or this one? It was Destin, Florida. And it was Anthony Morrison's course. I can't remember which. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one here. Destin, Florida.
Yeah, that's the one. That's Destin, Florida. I don't remember the name of the course either.
Me neither. Yeah. But this is it right here. Look, they're still doing it. See, look, he's still doing this, man. No, I mean, I don't know why you'd ever quit. He's crushing it with this, guys. You can see he's still doing it. And the course is like at least 2 years old. So destinflorida.com, and you can see the type of promotions that he sets up. Look, live 3-day giveaway. And again, the training course is really good. We don't have an affiliate link for it. I'd give it to you, but honestly, it's a good course. I actually set it up for my keto VIP project, which is a ketogenic diet thing that I was doing for a while. But I don't do much affiliate marketing, guys. I just straight do local stuff. And I certainly don't like Facebook. I know you can make a lot of money from Facebook, but I'm just not a fan of Facebook. So I spent some time setting up a similar giveaway with like ketogenic diet stuff, and I wasn't nearly as successful with it. And it's probably just because I only attempted it once and then quit because I just don't like Facebook. But like I said, this is a really good strategy. I think it's something you should check out for sure. It was a great question. As far as Answer Connect, it's been several years since I had Answer Connect do any outbound calls for me. I used to do that with lead gen service providers when I used to offer equity share or revenue, like when I would have a service provider where I would get a percentage of a closed job or closed sale. what I would do, and I've mentioned this before, I don't, maybe not on Hump Day Hangouts, but I've done that with 6 different tree service contractors, and only one of them ended up being honest with me and not lying about jobs that closed and they said they didn't get them. And one of the ways I found out that that I had contractors lying to me and not giving me credit or paying me for jobs from leads that came through my sites was I had Answer Connect, Answer Connect's been my call center, like my call answering service since 2012. So I've been using them for many years. But at the time, I would have Answer Connect go. I would provide the leads that came through a particular GMB location, and then I would provide the phone leads to Answer Connect and have them do an outbound customer survey, right? And that's what it was disguised as, a customer survey. And they would call the leads that came through and say, hey, this is, blah, 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 tree service. We're calling with a customer satisfaction survey. We understand that you didn't use our services, and we were just calling in order to improve our services. We would like to ask you a couple questions as to, what helped, what led you to make the decision to hire somebody else, something like that. It was worded something like that. I provided them with the script, and it was just, 2 or 3 questions, and it was real. And what would happen is the caller, the person that would answer the phone, the lead that they were calling, right, would say, well, we made a decision to go. We didn't get we just decided not to get the tree work done, or we went with another company because of this. They would provide an answer, but sometimes the answer would be, well, wait a minute, we did hire you guys to do the tree service. So you go back and check your records or something like that, right? They would say, no, we did hire you. And then I would call the contractor and say, okay, what about this lead here? Did you close this job? And when they would lie to me, I would show them proof. Wait a minute, I've had it confirmed that you did do the job. So now, therefore, you're fired. I'm going to send these leads somewhere else. And that happened to me. I've tried that with 6 different contractors, and only one of them has turned out to be honest. So I don't offer that anymore unless I've developed a really good working relationship with somebody. So, but at the time, Answer Connect was the service that I did it. Now, I don't know if they still do it. Easiest way to find out, Frankie, is just contact Answer Connect, right? Go to Answer Connect and go to Contact Us tab and ask them a question. You can call them. They're an answering service, so call them, ask them. Will you guys do outbound calls? And if they will, great. If not, just do a search on Google, right? Outbound calling, telemarketers, something like that, and find a service and have them do the outbound calls. Okay? It's that simple. Answer Connect used to do that, but I don't know if they still do because it's been many years since I've done that. Okay? That's a great, man, that's really sweet about this guy with giving you $1,000. And so you're going to spend his ad money, and for every lead that you generate with his ad money, you're going to get paid. That's great, man. You should try to repeat that over and over again. So congratulations. Ken says, last week, Bradley said he was, that's the webinar for Local Lease Pro update on Monday. I'm sure Adam already dropped the link. So there you go, Ken. Will, what's up, Will? He says, Bradley, on LLP, you mentioned that, which is Local Lease Pro, guys. You mentioned that one of the criteria for selecting a niche is to ensure that the service provider has good margins to afford your leads, which means good profits. Question, how do you go about determining what profit margins the client would have, as you explained with the carpet cleaning client you used as an example to drive your point? Well, again, Will, ask, right? Like, for example, if you are looking for, well, first of all, you got to think about the type of businesses, like, the carpet cleaning, there are very, very small margins for the most part, right? So it's hard to justify marketing costs, especially lead generation costs for carpet cleaning companies. But like tree services, it's almost all labor, right? It's very, very rarely is there ever any material costs other than fuel, right? And in paying for labor for the workers and stuff like that. But there's very rarely ever like any material costs. Remodeling leads, think about a kitchen remodel, right? A kitchen remodel, like on the low end, an average kitchen remodel is about $30,000. And typically most general contractors and remodeling contractors have about a 20% markup, right? So if it's a $30,000 job, and again, about the average is a 20% markup margin, right? Then they're looking at about a $6,000 profit margin. $24,000 would go out to materials and to subcontractors for labor, right? So that's about a $6,000 profit margin per lead there. So it's easy, or it's much more easy to justify charging $100 a lead when there's $6,000 profit potential for that lead. Does that make sense? So again, think about it logically, Will. That's first and foremost. Just think about the type of business that you may want to generate leads for. Think about what they charge for their product or service, and then think about what their costs may be. Try to guesstimate. You can do some simple Google searches, guys, and start looking for that kind of data. You will likely find it with a little bit of digging just by Googling it. And as a last resort, or if you're not, like, I personally don't like talking to people on the phone for the most part, unless it's like something I purposely scheduled, or unless I want to, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't like to call people and just out of the blue and ask questions, but that is a way that you could do it. For example, you could call whatever business type in your local area that you're considering doing lead gen services for, and just ask them, say, look, I'm a local marketing guy. I'm in the same area. You know, I'm not calling you to sell you anything. I'm literally calling to ask you some questions about your type of business, because I'm considering getting into marketing for this type of business, and I'd just like to know a little bit more about your industry. Would you be willing to answer a couple questions? Send somebody a gift card for $20 or something like that to Starbucks or to a local restaurant, and then call them after you know that it's been delivered, right? And then say, hey, I'm the guy that sent you the $20 gift card. Would you mind answering a couple questions about your business? Because I'm looking to get into marketing for that. I'm not trying to pitch you on anything. That's why I sent you a $20 Starbucks gift card. Would you mind taking a few minutes, right? Butter them up first by giving them something like that. I've done that in the past, guys, and it works. So again, it's just a conversation starter. And is it worth $20 to actually find out what the margins are for a particular business that you may be interested in generating leads for? And also, couldn't they be the first person to buy leads from you after you had that conversation and built some rapport with them? Think about it. So there you go, Will. Like I said, a lot of the times, just think about it logically first. Do some research on Google. You'll likely find the information you're looking for, some sort of statistic sheets or something. And then lastly, you could always just send somebody a small gift, or, I mean, you can just do a straight cold call. But if you want to kind of butter them up first, remember the law of reciprocity. When you give somebody something for nothing, and you're not trying to pitch them on, like, you know, a lot of you guys know probably from prospecting and trying to sell marketing services, we're always taught that we should lead with something free first, and then you try to sell them something. Well, what if you give them something free first and you don't try to sell them anything? You just want to ask them a question. Like, you'll probably close that sale because you're not selling anything. You know what I mean? So I would try that. Okay.
What I've also done is I just have people call as a customer, as a just typical customer to get a quote, just so that I have. That
won't reveal what the profit margin is.
No, it won't reveal the profit margin, but it gives you an idea. If you have a quote and you know the general markup, which is 20 to 30% across the board, sometimes 10, but it's generally 20 to 30, then you know more or less where you are.
That's true. So Ted's up. He says, local lease pro method question. Okay, I'm in a large city with a dozen zip codes within that city name. If I secure a GMB in one of those zip codes with a population of over 10K, should I limit my service area to target just that zip code where the GMB is secured? Well, that's up to you. It depends on really how you spaced out your assets. Like, you don't want there to be gaps or spaces between assets if possible. So that's really determined on. And again, this is more of a question that should be answered on Monday, not necessarily today, Ted, because we're having the whole local lease pro update webinar then. But yeah, I would say it depends on how you have your other assets within that same service area radius spread out. Right. Let's say you got a 20-mile service area radius and you've got only 4 assets and they're equally spaced out across those 24 or that 20-mile radius. Then I would have the service area set up for each of those locations to where they all overlap in the middle slightly, but that way the whole 20-mile service area is covered by service area of each location. Right. So each location would cover 25% in that particular example. So that's how I do it. If you're doing a whole bunch of locations within a particular service area, then yeah, you can go hyper local, which is really what we're teaching with Local Lease Pro anyways, is going hyper local and keeping your service area radius very, very tight or small. Something I've typically been doing is going about a 5-mile radius, guys. That's only a 10-mile service area, right? 5-mile radius from the location itself. That's typically what I'm doing. But again, it depends on how many assets you have and how big your service area is and how you want to spread them out, Ted. We'll talk more about that on Monday. Okay, there you go, Adam. Thank you. Thank you. There you go, Brian. It was just posted below you. What time is the webinar on Monday? It's 4 p.m., I believe, Eastern, right? Hello?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Monday, December 17th, I believe. Yeah, 4 p.m.
I'll put it on the page. It should have been on there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, cool. We're almost done. We can wrap it up either early or on time. GMB. Brian McKay says, GMB, need to have GMB site in addition to the page? Need to have a GMB site in addition to the page. I thought the GMB page was a site until I saw a link to a GMB site. I think you're talking about the maps page. No, a GMB website, Brian, is a web. Google gives you a free website now. It's on. It's whatever subdomain you choose. .business.site. That's a GMB website. Okay, and it's just a one-page site. But every time you create a GMB post, it gets, if you have a GMB website published, then it will also be converted into like an internal page on the site, right? So that's a GMB website. Yes, if you're doing GMB stuff, I say set up the GMB website too. Use all the tools, all the features that Google gives you guys. That's why we're crushing it right now, because we're doing everything that Google is giving to us, where 95% of other businesses don't even have a clue it exists. That's why we're crushing it right now. That's what Local GMB Pro is all about. Just get in there and use all of the tools that Google gives you within Google My Business, and Google will promote your location, your asset above everybody else, because you're using all the tools that nobody else is using. Does that make sense? So, yes, Brian, use the GMB website if you can. Marco, you want to comment on that?
No, you answered it perfectly. That's all I use.
Yep. I'm not even building WordPress sites anymore, guys. I swear to God. The only time I'm going to build a WordPress site is if a client demands it. For lead gen assets, nope, don't need them anymore. Why the hell would I want to go out and pay for a domain, set up hosting, and deal with all the stupid WordPress shit that we have to deal with all the time, when I can set up lead gen assets all day long with a GMB single page website, and I never have to do a damn thing to it, right? Think about it. So again, if a client demands a website, which most clients will, then that's fine. I'll work on their WordPress websites for them. But for my own stuff now, nope, no more WordPress sites. I'm done. At least for now. That may change.
And for those of you who have worked out the page rank math, that business.site is around a 5.6 PR. That doesn't mean that your subdomain is going to get a 5.6, but I mean you're attached not only to a Google property, but it's like a 5.6 PR. So the quality score will be not the quality score, but the ranking score will be just a touch lower than that. But it's a really good indicator that it's fucking powerful, and you need to be there.
All right, so thanks you, Marco. The next question, Ashish, I guess. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. That's a metric question, Ashish, and I know this is I think the first time you've posted a question for us, so I'm not going to slam you too hard, I promise. But something that we don't care about here at Semantic Mastery is metrics. I could care less what Moz metrics say about a domain or a web page. I could care less what Majestic SEO says or what Ahrefs says, because we stopped tracking metrics over 2 years ago, and I haven't had any problems whatsoever. I don't give a shit what the metrics are from my competitors compared to the metrics of the assets that I work on or my clients' assets, because we can still get results regardless of what those metrics say, period. And we've proven that over and over again. So again, I'm not picking on you. This is probably the first time you've asked a question here, but just this is really not the forum. A Semantic Mastery is not the place to ask questions about metrics and why your higher metric property isn't outranking somebody with lower metrics. Probably because they're doing stuff that really speaks directly or feeds Google's, feeds Google exactly what it wants. And that's independent, separate and apart from metrics. Metrics are proprietary. So Moz has its own algorithm that it tries to determine the strength of domains and pages and things like that based upon what it thinks Google wants. And Ahrefs has its own, and Majestic has its own, and everybody has their own metrics, and they're all proprietary. None of them work for Google. So what I'm saying is, since Google doesn't give us PageRank metrics anymore, which was the most accurate, then why bother with third-party metrics? And I know some people out here live and die by third-party metrics. That's fine. If it's working for you, that's great. But in your case, Ashish, you're saying that your metrics are higher, but it's not ranking. So apparently it's not just a metric thing that determines whether you rank or not, right? You're saying that you have living proof right now that that's not just a metric thing, which is why we don't care about third-party metrics anymore. I don't even track them. I don't care. Does that make sense? Now, I know Marco has a strong opinion about this too.
Yeah, absolutely, because everything we do is meant to trigger the good parts, let's call it, of the Google algorithm, right? Freshness and proximity and just everything that Google is looking for. They're looking, as I said, for the ranking score. They're looking. It's not just PageRank. PageRank is part, and I've been saying this for a couple of years now. PageRank is part of the ranking score algorithm, and so that's what we're building up. As long as we're working towards that, we could care less what Moz is doing or Majestic or anything else. It's a guide, but theirs is a guess. Theirs is they got a whole bunch of people together, and they got the math that Google gives you, because they don't give you everything, and they made an educated guess, right? Some went for domain authority, some went for trust. Well, neither one has everything that Google has. The only one that has what Google has is Google, and then not giving up the ghost. And so all we can do is what's the Semantic Mastery way, which is we test, we see what moves the needle, and then we do some more of it, and then we do some more of it, to the point where we try to just hammer it and try to break it and try to get Google to push back, so that we know when we come to you guys, we can tell you these are the safe boundaries as far as what you can do.
Yeah, what the threshold is. Yeah,
absolutely. We need to know. We need to know what doesn't work, so that we can give people what does work. Right? I mean, that's just obvious. That's what everybody should be doing. And if they're not, then Ashish, avoid them. Go somewhere else.
That's it. Thank you, Marco. Quit this house. By the way, I don't know if you saw that I commented on your question on the Syndication Academy update. Man, I really apologize. I missed your question. Yours was the first question, so I don't know how I missed it. But he was asking on that about, can you get an RSS feed from Facebook? And yes, you can from Zapier. You can get an RSS feed from Zapier. So yes, you can. And in fact, I posted on that page, the event page from earlier, that I would try to squeeze that into the update webinar we're going to do next month in January, which is part 2 of the Syndication Academy update webinar that I held today. So I'll try to get to that. So his question today, or for here, is there a benefit using a hashtag when posting the GMB? I have no idea. Marco, do you know? Because I still haven't been using them, so I don't know. Does it even take hashtags?
Yeah, you could use hashtags. I don't know if they go. Well, actually, you could do jump links in posts. Now, there, I just gave you something that I shouldn't be giving away, but run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, jump links are different from hashtags, though. But again, I don't know if hashtags, like if they hyperlink with a posted post. I don't know or not. I haven't tested that. I have no idea.
And I don't know if they would work. I don't know if there's a benefit. Everything that we're doing does not include
hashtags. Yeah.
Maybe that's something we should test. We should put that on our list of things to do.
I'm gonna ping Rob. Test hashtags for GMB posts.
Yeah, tell him to contact Irene, and then Irene will contact me.
I meant to, whatever. He knows what I meant. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Thanks for pointing that out. I hadn't even thought about that. We can test on that too. Yeah, the jump link thing. We will be talking about that in Local Lease Pro or Local GMB Pro, probably Local GMB Pro, and in Mastermind, guys, in probably sometime next month, because I got part 2 of Syndication Academy update webinars very specifically about Q&A posts and Q&A schema, question and answer schema. And so there's something that we can apply what Marco just leaked to that. And we'll talk about that once part 2 of Syndication Academy update webinar is complete. Okay. So, but there's something very powerful we can do with that. Edward says, hey guys, thanks for doing this. I'll +1 that. He says, for a competitive search term, Which are the main needle movers for boosting a GMB's ranking? Only a small team here. Right now, activity, Edward. Obviously, make sure it's fully optimized. It's well optimized. It's got good content. And in posting activity is probably the number one factor, in my opinion, for getting results, right? Getting traction with a GMB asset. So, guys, use the data in the GMB assets to tell you what Google wants, right? Google, the data and the GMB insights will tell you like the best days to post. Well, maybe you need to increase posting frequency on those days, right? It'll also tell you the keywords that are bringing them, or the search queries that are bringing the most traffic to your site. And for whatever reason, when you target those keywords in GMB posts, they tend to bring even more traffic. Also, go do it. And by the way, you'll probably notice, Edward, a lot of the keywords that are bringing traffic are near me keywords. Near me queries, right? And or variations, nearby, close to me, in my area, those type of queries. Target those, guys. You're triggering the mobile algorithm that way. Like Google loves that shit. So go in there and collect that, start building a database of near me terms and all the variations thereof. And then start targeting those in near me type posts. Again, we have post templates that are called near me post templates inside Local Lease Pro as well as Local GMB Pro. I'm not going to give them to you here, but you can create your own too, by the way. You don't need my templates. You can sit down and just think about how to create your own near me templates and just post regularly and consistently and often, right? That's the number one key. And then as far as getting ranked in the 3-pack, which isn't really necessary to get results from GMB. It doesn't even have to be in the 3-pack, guys, because you're talking, especially what I just mentioned with the mobile stuff. You don't even need to be in the 3-pack, and you can still generate leads from GMB assets. We've proven that. But if you want to be in the 3-pack, because let's face it, guys, that's still something that we as SEOs like to see, right? Local PR Pro. I'm not shitting you. There's probably the quickest way I've ever seen, other than the Local Lease Pro method, which is just researching locations and finding easy opportunities. Other than that, the quickest way I've been able to get into the 3-pack is through press releases and the Local PR Pro method, which is PR stacking and all of that. And again, that's why Local Lease Pro, guys, is hands down that is our number one front end product right now. And it will be as long as this opportunity exists, right? And Local GMB Pro is the advanced training for GMB assets. It's for those assets that don't push into the 3-pack and generate results right away. It's for the more competitive areas. That's what Local GMB Pro is. It's about how to get the absolute most power out of a GMB asset. Whether it's in a 3-pack or not, it makes no difference. Local PR Pro is the course that teaches you how to push that into a 3-pack and very, very quickly, whether it has a website or not. And that's why those 3 courses, guys, I'm telling you, they work hand in hand. And then lastly, to follow it all up is RYS Academy. And Drive Stacks, which is like, that's super advanced stuff that just pushes a shit ton of power into whatever you want through Google properties, right? And so it's like those 3 courses are like they compound, they just build upon each other. And then RYS is for that's like just the icing on the cake. And that's for if you want to just push massive authority. Marco, you want to chat about that at all?
No, I think you nailed it on the head. They go hand in hand. Local PR Pro, Local GMB Pro, Local Lease Pro, each one acts differently. Then when if you want it to stick, you throw Drive Stacks at it, and then it's like I said, it's never, I haven't seen it this easy to make money in so long that it's not even funny. It's just so easy. And the main needle mover, as you said, is just activity, but it has to be the right kind of activity. Right. On that niche. And let me tell you right now that each niche reacts differently depending on the kind of posts that you do. So I'll give that away. I'm not going to give everything away, but I'll tell you that.
Jeff says, how much SEO do you do for GMB sites? Also, how much can you throw at a GMB site without incurring the wrath of G? Okay. As far as SEO, I just put well-optimized content on it, guys. The beautiful thing about a GMB website is you cannot modify SEO elements of the page. Like, you don't put in header tags, and you don't, you just literally paste content in. You can bold stuff, and you can create links from within the content. but you can't add header tags. You can't, there's nothing that you can modify on the elements of the page. It's just text only, right? That's all you can do. And so all you need to do is have a well-written piece of content for the GMB website. And that's it. That's as far as you can go for on page, other than photos, which are incredibly important, and GMB posts, which act as inner pages if you have a GMB website. If you're just doing GMB posts and you don't have a GMB website, then they don't act as inner pages, they're just posts. But if you have a GMB website, then they'll start as posts, and then they'll turn into an inner page of the website as well. So you can silo those. I can't get into how, but we will talk about that a little bit on Monday for the local lease pro method. And our auto poster, the GMB auto poster that we have, will also automate a siloing post, which is really, really cool. Okay, so you can do that. But as far as the off-page stuff, I don't know, because I haven't done any massive spamming to the GMB websites yet, because as I just was talking about in the previous question, the only exterior link building I have done thus far has been from press releases and drive stacks. I have not even thrown any spam campaign, like spam link campaigns. We have a Dedia, right? We have a link building manager who's fabulous. He's amazing at what he does. And I haven't even started testing sending link campaigns to a GMB asset yet. Maybe Marco has, but all I've done is drive stacks and press releases. And I'm just now starting to play with syndication networks and syndicating GMB posts, because our auto poster creates an RSS feed from GMB posts. So I'm starting to test with that a little bit too. And I have also, I said this with ROIS stacks, but I've also tested just link building with Google Sites using a software from Peter Drew. But I haven't done enough testing there to determine whether it's that's something that I want to add into my standard operating procedure or not. But yeah, I mean, again, since it's a Google property, Marco can probably comment on this a little bit more, but I haven't tested the limit on that. But since it's a Google property, it will likely withstand anything you throw at it. What do you say, Marco?
I say that I haven't needed to do anything except what's in the training so far. And, it's so simple, because you just go, you get an asset, you optimize it the way that it's taught, you throw it up, it ranks, or it doesn't rank. And if it doesn't rank, you can still, the activity will create calls. The way that it's set up will create calls. It'll create activity. And that activity, Google starts feeding on it, because it starts seeing it. And activity, right, is one of the major factors right now. I said it, I keep saying it. Art, activity, relevance, trust, and authority. Those are the things that will trump anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care what negative aspects there are. If you have activity, relevance, trust, and authority set up in whatever it is that you're doing, it's going to trump everything, and Google is going to reward you over and over and over again.
Yep. There you go. Casey says, what's stopping someone from creating thousands of websites and GMBs and renting them out? Just time or any other major complications? Yeah, time. That's it. Time and funding. And having a team to be able to accomplish that. What do you think we're in the process of doing right now? Right, we're building those teams so that we can do that kind of volume. It's exactly what we're doing, Casey. That's why I said that the opportunity, while the iron's hot, right? Like right now is the time to do it, and that's why I've been pushing for 2 months now, as hard as I have been, to try to build a scale, this in a scalable way. We're training VAs. I've created process. I spent weeks developing training videos and process docs to be able to train virtual assistants how to do this entire process from start to finish. The POFU Live attendees are getting these updates from me in real time. They're kind of helping me with this, right? Because they're all using our scaling processes to build their businesses. And so we've got all these people that are doing this right now, and we're teaching some of this in the mastermind as it becomes refined and repeatable, because it's still kind of in its rough stage right now. But in the mastermind, as it becomes proven, I share this in the mastermind as well. But that's exactly why, because I don't know how long this opportunity is going to last. So while it's here, we're going to try to secure as many as possible, right? So Casey, the only limitation that I know of right now is your bandwidth and your funding if you're going to be hiring it out, right?
Definitely budget, unless he has his own method of securing GMB assets. Because 1,000, 2,000 of them, if you get them through us, we're talking about quite a bit of money.
Yeah. All right, Wayne, last question, and we're going to wrap it up. We're right on time, too, so that's perfect. Wayne says, realized today that if a prospect in HVAC or plumbing can't get into local service ads, then there's a hell of an opportunity to do what you learned from Semantic Mastery to help prospect. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Wayne. So, yeah, if you can't, like, for example, guys, I know we had in our mastermind, somebody was talking about trying to get one of their clients into the local services ads section, which is what you're seeing here. Right. And apparently it was funny, but I think it was Muhammad. Anyway, one of our members in the mastermind said that there was a real awkward conversation with the business owner when they were trying to explain to them why they should be in local Google service ads. And the business owner said that they couldn't be because they couldn't pass a background check. And that's funny because that's going to happen, especially when you're dealing with contractors. Trust me, there's a lot of contractors out there that can't pass background checks because of something in their past. You know what I mean? And I'm totally cool with working with those types of contractors, guys. People make mistakes and they can change. But if you can't pass a background check because of something, you know, got a skeleton in your closet, you can't get in this section. And so what Wayne is saying is true. That doesn't mean that they're dead in the water, right? DITW. That means that they have, you know, you just have to do other things like Google Ads or like what we teach with Maps, which is local Lease Pro and local PR Pro, right? Or excuse me, and local GMB Pro. So there you go. Thank you, Wayne. That's a good point. All right. No other questions. Right on time. Hot damn. That doesn't happen very often.
Woo!
Cool. And even Adam's still here. Wow.
About to head out. Time to hit it before the sun goes down and go for a run. But wanted to remind everybody to show up for the webinar on Monday. If you got any questions about this stuff, I know we talked about local Lease Pro a bit today. A lot of questions about it. Whether or not you're a member, show up. You know, go register. Come hang out. You know, this is a great way to close out 2018 and really start kicking ass in 2019.
There you go. And also, we have a mastermind webinar tomorrow for those of you in the mastermind. So post your questions through the form, the Google form, guys, because we got a lot to go through tomorrow. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks, Marco and Adam.
Bye, everybody.
See you.